Good evening, I'm Harry Keeling, and on behalf of Alaska Public Media and the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation, welcome to Hangar Flying. This evening our guest is John Bender, who's the Deputy Commissioner of Aviation, Department of Transportation, State of Alaska. John is originally from Fairbanks, went into the United States Air Force in 1987, retired from the Air Force in 2012 after a successful career flying a number of different aircraft, including the F-15C here at Elmendorf. He also had a tour of duty in South Korea. John, welcome and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Harley. Happy to be here.
I know from talking to you on various occasions you've got a huge job that affects a lot of our viewers out there, maybe all of our viewers in some way. Mm-hmm. Can you briefly describe what your responsibilities are?
Sure. So the state of Alaska owns and operates 249 airports across the state, and that ranges everything from our small village airports in rural Alaska up to our big internationals, Anchorage and Fairbanks. Anchorage and Fairbanks, we consider that our international system. It's a standalone enterprise system where they're self-sustaining through the revenue they create. The remaining 247 we consider our rural system, and that includes everything from the hub airports to the villages, and serving a huge need. 82% of our communities out there have no other means of transportation, so it's certainly a lifeline to those communities, and something we take very seriously as far as keeping year-round access to Alaska's residents.
249 airports. You used another term in a previous conversation, a certificated airport. Mm-hmm. What is that?
So a certificated airport is an FAA classification, and if you're certificated, that means you fall under Part 139 of the FARs. And the requirement here in Alaska is any carrier who's providing transportation for 30 or more passengers, passenger aircraft or jet service, then that airport must be certificated under FAA guidelines. It just means it's a higher level of service that airport provides. You have to have crash rescue available. You have higher friction requirements as far as maintaining runway surfaces, lighting, approach clearances, all those sorts of things to provide that higher level of safety and security for our airports.
So we're probably talking Juneau, Kenai?
Yes, and really any of the kind of the larger hub type airports you're thinking of, Barrow, Bethel, Dillingham, Kotzebue, Deadhorse, those type, typically where Alaska Airlines flies in, or Raven, are really the ones that drive us into a Part 139 or certificated.
So would Kenai be one or not?
It is.
Yeah, Palmer, no.
Palmer, not.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. What I really want to do is get into what I know you spend a lot of time on, and that is the situation that we are, the fiscal situation that we as Alaskans and the state are in right now. I know must impact you a great deal, mm-hmm. and you probably have to make some tough choices. And when it comes to infrastructure, for example, capital projects, can you talk about that?
Sure.
How you
yes, it
that?
Certainly covers almost everything we're trying to do these days, and really the financial situation provides really a forcing mechanism for us to do some things and find some efficiencies across our system that frankly we've probably needed to do for quite some time. Something specific to aviation wise is and the highways as well, is really trying to change our thought process from an expand mindset where we're expanding infrastructure capabilities across the state to really more preserving and maintaining what we have at the time. So a little bit different focus as far as capital projects go, where we're funneling our money and our resources, is making sure that what we have is going to be sustainable for years to come without necessarily looking for areas to broaden our capabilities at this point.
You had mentioned, one thing I found fascinating was, as I understand it, at one point, runway length seemed to be a driver, but are you falling off of that more towards runway surface, or tell me how that thought process works?
Sure, it's kind of a mix of the both. In the early stages of our airport system, carriers and the stakeholders were looking for a standard out there. Hey, Alaska, what are you trying to achieve across our airport system? And that was a logical question. At the time, the folks got their smart heads together and figured, hey, let's try to provide a runway surface at all of our communities that will accommodate 95% of the fleet mix that's in Alaska. And that ended up being about 3,300 feet. So for many years, that's been the standard we've been striving for. Particularly though, as resources have gotten thinner and thinner, we're getting a lot of carriers and communities asking us, hey, why are we putting money into these particular locations to expand or lengthen runways when the aircraft service that is using that runway will never need that type of a length? How come we're not putting that money into improving and maintaining the surfaces we have? So we've really shifted that focus from a statewide fleet mix to now more of a regional or district type fleet mix. So potentially, Southwest Alaska, for instance, tends to have smaller aircraft that are serving those communities. So that's an area where we don't need 3,300 feet. So it makes more sense adding more gravel here and there and potentially funneling some of those resources to other airports that have higher priority needs.
John, we've run out of time. I knew that was going to happen. But if I can get you on next time, let's pick up the conversation right there.
Sounds great.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed tonight's program. Tune in next time. John will be back on. I think there's some other questions that come to mind, and we certainly appreciate having him on the program. And until next time, fly safe.